There's a little white duck sitting in the water, a little white duck doing what he oughter.
He took a bite of a lily pad, flapped his wings and he said, I'm glad
I'm a little white duck sitting in the water. There's a little green frog swimming in the water, a little green frog doing what he oughter.
Jumped right off of the lily pad that the little duck bit, and he said, I'm glad
I'm a little green frog swimming in the water.
Boom, boom, boom.
There's a little black bug floating on the water, a little black bug doing what he oughter.
He tickled the frog on the lily pad that the little duck bit, and he said, I'm glad
I'm a little black bug floating on the water. There's a little red snake lying on the water, a little red snake doing what he oughter.
He frightened the duck and the frog so bad. He ate the little bug and he said, I'm glad
I'm a little red snake lying on the water. Now there's nobody left sitting in the water, nobody left doing what he oughter. There's nothing left but the lily pad. The duck and the frog ran away.
I'm sad
'cause there's nobody left sitting in the water. Boo, hoo, hoo. Jack and the Beanstalk. Now Jack was just
a silly boy who somehow or another
exchanged his cow
for 6 small beans, then ran home to his mother.
She threw the beans
into the yard and sent Jack off to bed.
And then she sat
right down and cried until her eyes were red.
Then Jack awoke at crack of dawn. Right there before his eyes, a big tremendous beanstalk grew way up into the skies.
Then Jack ran out
into the yard as fast could be.
He climbed the stalk up to the top. Now guess what he could see?
Jack saw a castle close at hand. He knocked upon the door. The girl who answered easily was his height and 10 feet more. Jack said,
Please, ma'am, I'd like some food if even just one bite.
She said,
Be quick, before the giant comes home to spend the night.
But Jack had barely settled down to eat a piece of bread. The giant came home. Jack had to hide, and then the giant said,
3-5-0-fum, it seems I smell a boy.
It's not a boy. I've cooked a pig. Your dinner you'll enjoy.
And the giant ate his dinner and fell asleep playing with his purse full of money. As soon as he was asleep, Jack crept out from under the bed and quickly recognized the purse as one that had been stolen from his father many years before. So he took the purse and ran helter-skelter to the beanstalk and slid all the way down.
Jack's mother was glad to see him back. She told him about a gold hen the bad giant stole some years ago. Jack went up the beanstalk again. But
That night when the giant's meal was served, Jack hid himself back of some kegs. The giant then said, "O golden hen, lay dozens of bright golden eggs."
The giant got tired and was snoring, and Jack, walking softly tiptoe, swept up the gold hen and went running. As he squeezed her, she started to crow. Jack knew that the giant heard the hen, and that soon he'd be wide awake. Jack slid down the beanstalk, took an axe. The beanstalk fell down with a shake.
The giant fell to the ground with a horrible sound, and kept falling through the night, 'cause he fell in a hole and just like a mole, when so deep he fell from sight.
Now Mother and Jack had their hen back. They spent their life happy and gay. And the giant's wife, one hears, spent the next 20 years
just singing and dancing each day. There was a family, oh so poor, no food was in the kettle to feed father and stepmother and young Hansel and Gretel.
One morning this bad stepmother said, "Your children must go. We'll lose them in the woods come morn, and we'll have no more woe." They thought the children were asleep. Had they looked on the stair, they'd find, no doubt, to their surprise, little Hansel hiding there.
Now Hansel was a bright young lad, it's easy to be seen. Next day, each step along the way, he dropped a bright red bean. That night the children followed home the trail of beans so red. The next day brought no beans to drop, instead Hansel dropped bread.
And once again, when left or lost their way home they would find, they found the birds ate every crumb, leaving not one behind.
They walked and walked all through the woods, each had an empty tummy, and all at once they saw this house, 'twas made of things so yummy.
The walls were made of chocolate cake, the roof of peppermint stick. A piece broke off the licorice porch, which they began to lick.
They wondered who lived in the house, whoever was so rich. Just then someone opened the door. It was a bad, bad witch.
Hello, little children. Come on in. The fire is in the oven. I've got to shove some goodies in. It's you I'm shoving.
Hansel and Gretel went inside. The witch turned up the fire. She said,
"Little girl, is it hot enough in the stove? May I inquire?"
But Gretel was a smart, smart girl who did not want to cook. She said,
"Please, ma'am, I don't know how. Please show me how to look."
The witch tried her best to explain. She talked and talked some more, and then she climbed into the stove. The children slammed the door.
The children wandered through the house to see what they could find. They found upstairs their stepmother, whom they had left behind. She said the witch had kidnapped her, and then they understood. It was the witch who planned to leave the children in the wood.
The mean old witch just disappeared. We have no idea where, 'cause when they looked inside the stove, the witch just wasn't there. They ran outside and golly gee, a sight strange to behold.
For each breadcrumb the birdies ate, they dropped a piece of gold.
They all joined hands and sang this song, "The witch is no more bothered," and we can all go home again to tell the news to father.
For those of you with stepmothers, one word before we part. You'll love them with all your heart.
There once lived a lady in a gingerbread house with a gingerbread cat and a gingerbread mouse, gingerbread pots and a gingerbread pan. And one day she baked herself a gingerbread man, raisins for buttons and some nuts for the eyes, and she carefully baked him into just the right size, a piece of candy to make his nose, and pink sugar frosting to cover his toes.
She put him in a pan that she had lined with flour,
And put him in an oven and she baked him for an hour. When she opened up the door, imagine her surprise. He turned it up and down and out right before her eyes.
catch me if you can. Oh, I can run the fastest, I'm the gingerbread man.
Soon the gingerbread man came upon a shepherd watching over his sheep. The gingerbread man slipped up behind the sheep, and taking a deep breath, he barked like a wolf. And the sheep scrambled in all directions. The shepherd saw the gingerbread man and soon was after him, shaking his big crook. A crook is sort of a big cane that shepherds carry. And the gingerbread man ran away singing.
Ha, 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 ha. Catch me if you can. Oh, I can run the fastest, I'm the gingerbread man.
Soon the gingerbread man came to a stream, and since he knew that he would melt in the water, he looked for some way to get across. A wise old fox happened by, and seeing the gingerbread man standing at the side of the stream, he said,
"Oh, if you want to get across, my swimming is my pride. Just climb aboard my back, and I'll swim to the other side."
And so the gingerbread man climbed on the fox's back, and off they went.
Ha, 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 ha. Catch me if you can. Oh, I can think the quickest, I'm the gingerbread man.
There's no doubt about that, gingerbread man. But don't you think you ought to move a little closer to my head? My back is underwater.
And sure enough, the fox's back was being covered by water. So the gingerbread man moved closer and closer and closer to the fox's nose, which by this time was the only thing not covered by water. And with one gulp, the fox swallowed him whole, which just goes to show that you can't trust foxes, especially if you're a gingerbread man.
That is the story of the gingerbread house with the gingerbread cat and the gingerbread mouse, gingerbread pots and a gingerbread pan, and the lady who baked her gingerbread man.
What do you believe in? Do you believe that birds can fly backwards? Hummingbirds do. Or do you believe that fairies are real? I'm a fairy, and my name is Tinkerbell, and I have a question for you. If you were a little boy,
if I were a little boy,
and could do anything that you wanted to,
and could do anything that I wanted to,
yes, if you were a little boy,
yes, if I were a little boy,
what would you do?
What would I do? I'd fly away to Never Never Land. I'd live in the trees and play in the sand. I'd wink at the stars and they'd wink at me, and oh, how happy I would be. Oh, that's silly. No one could ever be a little boy once he's grown up.
But there was such a boy, and his name was Peter Pan, and he could fly, and he lived in Never Never Land. And he had all sorts of adventures with a ferocious pirate named Captain Hook. And Captain Hook was afraid of nothing at all, except a crocodile. And if this crocodile had not swallowed an 8-day clock so that the ticking warned Captain Hook, why, I guess Captain Hook wouldn't have given Peter Pan so much trouble up there in Never Never Land. This was a funny old crocodile.
I'm a lonesome crocodile, absolutely without fears. Sometimes, though, I get so angry, I could cry big crocodile tears. I chase Captain Hook each day, afternoon into the night. If this clock would stop its ticking, he would get a terrible fright. Pardon me, it's time to call the sun. Another day is ending.
Are you sure you'd like to be a little boy and meet silly old crocodiles like that?
Why, sure. Know what I'd do? I'd toot like a horn and boom like a drum. I'd make a cake from stale breadcrumbs. I'd become most anyone I wanted to be. So when I got in trouble, I'd become another me. I'd sleep with turtles, cackle with the hens, visit the sun in the larks and wrens. I'd be most anything I want to be. And oh, how happy I would be.
If you were a little boy,
if I were a little boy,
and could do anything that you wanted to,
and could do anything that I wanted to.
Yes, if you were a little boy,
yes, if I were a little boy.
What would you do? Would you go to Never Never Land, where you might run into Captain Hook?
Captain Hook?
Did I hear someone calling that horrible crook named Hook? 'Cause I'll be frabble and jabble dabbed if a voice ain't shook my nook. 'Cause if I'm not mistook, someone's voice shook my nook, and I'll brook not a look at my cook. 'Cause a cook of a crook cooking for Captain Hook can't be shook like a book on a shelf. So if someone forsook Captain Hook and his cook, why they'd better look after themselves.
Captain Hook, you can't frighten me. You aren't really so mean.
You'll have to excuse me now. I'm teaching my cook how to make crocodile steaks.
Goodbye, Captain Hook. Now, would you like to go to Never Never Land?
I sure would.
All right. Close your eyes, everybody. Close them real tight, real tight. And now you and you, yes, and you too. You are Peter Pan, and you're a little boy. We're going to fly away to Never Never Land.
We'll live in the trees and play in the sand. We'll wink at the stars and they'll wink at we. And oh, how happy, how very, very happy. Oh, how happy we